Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Crane, and I'm with Economic Development Lethbridge. And I'd like to introduce you to the rest of the gang here on the call today. Mark?
Hi, I'm Mark Neskar with Economic Development Lethbridge.
Catherine?
I'm Catherine Archibald from the Lethbridge Chamber of Commerce.
And Tyler.
Hi everyone, I'm Tyler Heaton from Lethbridge College.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to walk through the 3 steps to get you into the Brighter Together virtual reality space for the Chamber networking session. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen with all of you so that way you can follow along. The first space that we're going to take you to is the STEAM platform. And STEAM is a place where all of the software lives, and the software that we're going to be using is AltspaceVR. And then once we're in AltspaceVR, we're going to go to the Lethbridge Brighter Together space that the fantastic team at Lethbridge College has built. So you should be able to see my Google search engine, and I'm just going to put in STEAM. Feel free to follow along. You should see Welcomes to STEAM. It is has an icon of kind of a gear that will show up on your desktop once you've done this download. So we're going to click the STEAM, and up here in the top right corner, there is Install STEAM. So you're going to want to click on that box, hit Install STEAM down here. And just a reminder, don't worry, this is safe. Many PC gamers use STEAM. If any of you have kids, you might already have accounts set up, which is great. You're one step ahead. And then over here in the bottom left-hand corner, you should see the executable file, or you can hit the Windows button on your keyboard and E. And it will pop up your Explorer box. I'll pull this down. So you should be able to come up here to Downloads and see your STEAM setup here. So you can click that bottom on the left, or you can go to the STEAM setup, whichever you prefer. Once you click that, it will give you this Welcome to STEAM, and you can hit Next. Choose your language. Me personally, I like English, but pick whatever you'd like, and then you're going to want to hit the Install. This doesn't take long to install, and we're going to, you'll be able to see it downloading here. Again, hopefully just a few minutes. So while that's loading, I'm going to talk about the next step. Once we get into STEAM, we're going to want to search for AltspaceVR. And again, this is the software program that the Lethbridge College team used to create this space. And they did a fantastic job. And we're so thrilled that the Chamber is using it for the networking event. And we hope to see you all in the space. And I'll be there, and Mark and Catherine and Tyler. And Tyler, once we get into the space, we'll kind of show you how we use it and how you can move around the space. Because one of the things we like about virtual reality is that it really is the closest to an in real life experience. Catherine, what did you think when you first went into virtual reality?
I was completely surprised how real it felt. I said to our CEO, Cindy, I feel like I'm actually working a room and networking, because you hear voices, and the closer you get to someone, the louder they are. So I could hear somebody in the background. I thought, I recognize that voice. I turn my avatar around and I see this figure that looks like somebody I know, and I walk over there and start networking with them. So because you're talking in real time, it truly feels like we're really in this space. And because it's the avatar that looks like yourself, that is super fun. I had fun changing hats the entire time, but It was a great experience. That's why we jumped all over this, because it just seemed like the next best thing to do for our members.
That's great. So my Steam is already downloaded. You should be able to see that icon on your desktop. And if you don't have the Steam login, if it didn't prompt it right away, you can just click on that and it will prompt you to create a Steam account name and password. Right? If you already had an account, you could put in your stuff, but I'm going to say create a new account because most of you probably don't have an account set up yet. And so we're going to do that right now. I'm choosing Canada. I am not a robot. I am definitely 13 years or older. I have to choose all the stairs. This one's pretty easy. I always hate it when they give me tricky ones. And we're going to click continue. Now, again, it's not going to let you in until you verify your account. So make sure that you check your email address that you put in. I've got my handy dandy phone here with me, so I'm just going to wait until I get the email. So I finally got my email and I clicked the verify your account. So you can see that my create your account is up. Now don't worry too much about this Steam account name. You will be prompted later on as you develop your avatar for a username. So on this one, I am going to put brighter together. And I'm going to choose a password. And I'm going to hit done. My new account has been created successfully. If you choose an account name that's already in use, they will give you prompts for that. So now we have created our account and we're going to log in. Uh-oh.
This is where you use Brighter Together, the account name from Steam.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Tyler. See, I'm so glad he's on the call.
No, and it's funny, you know how it is using technology. Every system you introduce yourself to, it's a new username and password, and so it's good to remember them all. And this is where you would use that Steam username that you created a moment ago.
I highly suggest writing down the usernames that you create too, because you might want to reference them back. So we'll have a handy notepad.
I was just going to say, I have to write that down really quickly or else I'm going to forget. I tell you, Catherine, birds of a feather. All righty. So what I have been prompted with is what looks like this. So I get a little dialogue that pops up, and I don't have any online friends yet, but that's going to change. We'll show you how to do that. And you're going to shut that down. And here we are at our Steam login page. So I'm going to come over here to the store. And in the top right, I am going to search for AltspaceVR. There you go. It pops up. It's a free download. So I'm going to choose it and it should pop up here momentarily on my screen. Is it? Let's try that again. There we go. And here is AltSpace. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to choose this button that says play game. There are many games within the Steam platform that you can play around with. So again, feel free to search through that. And I'm going to hit next. I always agree to pretty much anything people send my way. And it is starting my download. So I'm going to quickly pause this because this download does take a little bit longer than some of the other downloads.
And Aaron, if you don't mind, I'll just quickly make a note to people who might be concerned about downloading programs that they're not familiar with. AltspaceVR is owned by Microsoft. So if you're worried about trusting AltspaceVR, don't. It's a Microsoft company. They've been around for 5 or 6 years, and they're really great people. And I've talked to some of the people that work at that company, who are some of the creators of the program. They're really great people, and it's all handled by Microsoft. And so you don't need to worry about, is this strange program going to hurt my computer? And it won't. You're perfectly safe.
Thank you, Tyler. That's a really good point. And actually, my downloads already came through. So I'm going to click play game once again. And here I am. Hang on, it's loading. I will show you here. I am now in the AltspaceVR software platform. And within this platform, there again are different things different worlds that you can go to. So feel free to check those out. And this is where you would customize your avatar. And oh, sorry, I missed a step. You do need to create an account. So you're going to come over here on the left-hand side, and you're going to say account. And I'm going to come over here, and the third one down, it says sign in with an AltspaceVR account. And I'm going to put in my email address. And my password.
Now, does this confuse anyone, the Brighter Together title and the email? Tyler, do you want to kind of explain which is where and how you use it and why?
You bet. So this is actually another account. So this is specific to AltspaceVR. So if you don't already have an account, there is an option to create one. So this is not your Steam account. This is your AltspaceVR account. So you would have to create, if you haven't already, you would have to create your AltspaceVR account right now. Which may be, Aaron, why it's giving you an error, because you likely used, yeah, you're already signed in as you. So one of the fun things that AltspaceVR will do is it might kick you out of the program when you sign out, and that's just a safety measure. So if you start again, Aaron, AltspaceVR will fire up without you being logged in, and it will give you the opportunity to create that AltspaceVR account.
All right, everybody, sorry about that. So I've just hit the play game button again. I signed out with the previous account that I had. And so this should be what you see when you log into it for the first time. You get a little welcome. You have to accept, once again, terms of service. I love data, so I always allow anybody to have access to my data. And here is where you can either go through the tutorial or you can go through the sign in. And I am going to choose to sign in, but I do strongly encourage all of you to go through that tutorial process, because it is a good one. So here now we are signing into AltspaceVR. You can see that our avatar is just a guest, and we don't want that because this is a networking event and we want to know who you are and what your name is. And we encourage you to set up your avatar to look like yourself too.
Absolutely. And so you can see down at the bottom, it says no account, create one. That's your opportunity. If you don't already have an account, this is where you would create your AltspaceVR account. Thank
you, Tyler. So this is where we're going to put in our display name. What do others see? And because I've been in VR before, I actually have an account under Aaron Crane. I'm going to create this account for Brighter Together.
And Erin, if I can give a tip right there as well. So your display name doesn't have to be unique as well. So because Altspace recognizes that there might be 1,000 Erin Cranes out there. So if you wanted to use your own name as your display name, you can, but your username does have to be unique. And so that's something to make a note of.
And I highly recommend that it be like we have here where it says Catherine Lethbridge Chamber. You put your name and your organization because it really helps for networking purposes to know who you're chatting with. And I believe that that name cannot have spaces. So I would do Catherine_Lethbridge Chamber with no spaces or something to that effect.
There we go. I added a brighter together YQL. So you can see it prompts you for all of these things. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. That's why we're here and why we're putting together this video. Goodness, I forgot where I was. All right. I'm going to get rid of the United States. Oh, I do remember this. Unfortunately, there's not a drop-down menu, and I really want them to know I'm from Canada. So I am searching through. Luckily, we are at the start of the thing. I'm not going to put in, actually, I am going to put in my birth date because you do have to be 13. Remember to use this space. So I'm not going to go all the way back. I'm going to make myself a little younger today, and I'm going to hit create. So it is now processing. You do have the option to go through and customize your avatar. You can click that button. You can change hairstyles. You can change clothing. So I encourage you all to have some fun with that. I'll let you do that on your own. You can see over here on the left-hand side, there's that tutorial that I mentioned. But what's going to happen is once you've signed up for the event, we're sending you this tutorial video. But then before the event, Catherine's going to send you a code. And this is where you come and you enter in that code. So I'm going to put in a code now and hit enter. And I'm going to enter the space. Are my friends on the screen? Are you guys already in the space?
I will be momentarily.
Excellent. I will see you in virtual reality. I'm going to hit enter and let's see where it takes us. This does not take long, folks. And if you just have blank screen, know that you can just mouse around to find where you are in the space. You're never lost. When you first come in, it does give you a bit of a tutorial about what your menu items look for. The one you're going to want to look at is the microphone button. And you can see here, my microphone button over on the left-hand side is red. If your microphone is red, that means you are muted. And we know how much fun muting is with online meetings and everything else, right? So make sure that you are unmuted. You also have the option to set up your personal bubble. This just makes sure that you are ensuring social distance, which you really don't have to worry about in VR because, again, it's virtual. But you can set that up to make sure people don't get too close to you. If that is a concern to you, it's personal preference. And then you do have the opportunity to invite friends and connect with people, which is fantastic. And we'll show you how to do that once we actually get into the space. And again, if you haven't customized your appearance, which I haven't, my avatar looks nothing like me, but I will come back in later and do that. So, hi, Tyler. Great to see you in the space.
Hi. I'm going to keep my mic muted in Altspace just so we don't get any sort of echo. Yeah. But yeah, that's my avatar. And as you can tell, I've taken some time to customize it and it looks a little bit like me. And I've always been surprised how how quickly we recognize people we know in AltspaceVR with a little bit of avatar customization. I can see Mark, I can see Catherine, and right away, I know that those are people that I know in the physical world, that I know in real life.
Hey, Catherine. And you can see here, so I can move freely with my mouse and I can look 360 degrees, right? I'm going to turn around so you guys can see this fabulous space that the Lethbridge College team built. And this is where we're going to be going and where we'll be meeting later. Now, in order to stop this 360-degree view, I'm going to right-click, and that's going to anchor me in space. I can no longer move that 360. And you'll notice over here on the left-hand side that my menu bar has shown up. And I am going to turn it over to Tyler. And Tyler, I don't know if you want to go to the stage, and then Catherine and Mark and I can follow, and you can do a little tutorial for us about how we can move around the space.
You bet. Do you want me to share my screen then as well, and then they can see my my AltspaceVR instance on my computer?
Sure. I'll stop sharing here, and you can start sharing on yours.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. And as you can see, I can move my mouse around. One of the first things that I would recommend is, if you're using a laptop especially, make sure you have a mouse that plugs in so that you can do the right clicking. So I'm going to move around here. Oh,
But it's
Catherine.
not, you can do it on the pad. Don't forget that. A lot of people were trying to use laptops, so you can still right and click mouse clicks on the pad and use your arrow keys, right, of the laptop?
That's right. Catherine, can you just mute your microphone in AltspaceVR? Or the other, or Zoom. This is one of the funny things. We use AltspaceVR and Zoom together all the time to do orientation, and we just have to remember not to get echo, but we're good. And what was really neat there, and I was glad that you did that, is you could see for a moment that Catherine's avatar's mouth was moving. And that's one of the really cool things about the AltspaceVR platform, is that it does feel like you're in a room with real people, because their mouths move, their eyes move when they look at you. And once you get into VR, your hands even move. So it's really fun. So I'm going to move down to the screen, or to the stage, and you'll see that I'm just using my arrow keys or my WASD keys on my keyboard. And so W is forward, S is backwards, A moves me to the left, and D moves me to the right. And then I can move around with my mouse. So whatever direction I'm pointing, that's the direction that I'll walk. Now, if you want to move a little bit faster, so say you want to do a bit of a jog, you can actually hold down your Shift key and you'll move a little bit faster. And if you want to be superhuman fast, if you press your F key, you get this little teleport symbol, and that will jump you to wherever that symbol is pointed. You will go to that spot. So that's the F key, or F for fast. So I'm going to push the F key, and I'm going to push it again and jump right up onto the stage. And so now you can see that I'm up on stage. And depending on the environment, you might have a stage, you might have all kinds of things. You might just want to get to a higher spot in the environment. So now you can see I'm up on the stage, and I can see my friends down there. And I'm going to right click for a second and show you some of the other features that we have in the menu. So this menu here, this takes you, if you press the center icon, that takes you to the main menu for AltspaceVR. And this is for if you want to go to a different event, if you want to go to a different environment, if you want to look at all the people that you know, if you want to see who's here. So I can see the people that I'm friends with that are in the same world as I am. You can see them all here. I can see the total number of people that I know, and everything. The other really important thing is, if you want to customize your avatar, you click this Me box here, and that allows you to customize your avatar. You can customize and and you can go through all that. It also gives you access to your account information. So if you ever forget your username, this is a really important tip. So mine says Tyler, that's my display name. And there could be 1,000 Tylers, 1,000,000 Tylers in Altspace. But this one underneath is T Heaton. That's my username, and that's unique. So this one is the one that you will use for accessing private events, or if anyone ever asks you, what's your Altspace username? It's the one that's in brackets. So it's this one right here. And if I go to my account, I can see it right here, right? So that's your username, is the one that's in brackets, really important one. Another important thing to look at is your settings. If you're ever having problems with your microphone or your speakers, the audio tab here, you can just double check what your input is. So if people can't hear you, but you're unmuted, double check your microphone input on your computer, that it's activated. And yeah, that's the main thing. You'll see that I have a couple of things checked here that you might need, which is this enable worlds. That just allows you to go to custom worlds, which is really handy. So that one might be, depending on the world you're joining, that might be necessary. So just remember that. So I'm going to exit this. I'm not going to hit exit. Exit actually takes you out of Altspace. So I'm not going to hit exit there. I'm going to hit close down here, and that's going to close that big menu. So the other things that you see here are, we can take a picture, which is really fun. So I'm going to hit that, 3, 2, 1. And there, it took a picture. And if you're wondering where that goes, if I click my menu here and go to me and gallery, here's all the pictures that I've taken while I'm in Altspace. So there's your pictures. These are your emojis, and these are super helpful for big events. If you want to let people know that you appreciate something that they said, you can hit the clap button. If you like it, you can hit the happy button. If you think it's funny, you can hit the silly button. If you're not so sure, you can hit the sad face button. And if you really love it, you can hit the heart button. This one's also really handy, which is this holding up your hand. And what that does is that lets you know that someone wants to ask a question or talk to you or something like that. So that's really helpful too as an emoji. And you can turn that off and on. Okay, so I'm going to hide that for a second. And I don't have any other user rights in this environment, so I won't go into that. You can take a selfie. So say I wanted to take a selfie with my friends. I'm going to just turn around right here. And I'm going to go selfie. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. You can take a selfie with your friends as well. And then this bubble, Aaron talked about the bubble. And what that does is, it's really handy when you're in a really crowded room. If I turn my bubble off and I walk right up to Mark, you can see that Mark is visible right all the way up to there, right? And that's probably uncomfortable for Mark right now, as it is for me. But if I turn that bubble back on and I get really close, he disappears. He's still there, but I don't see him. And this is really helpful for if you're in a really big event and there's lots of people. I tend to turn this one on so that if there's people standing in front of me and they don't realize I'm there, I can still see what's going on. So I can still see the screen. So if I walked up behind Catherine and Aaron and I've got the bubble on, I can see the screen, right? And they don't have to worry about moving, right? So it just makes it not visible, right? So I can see the screen, or I can see what's going on around me. And yeah, that is, in a nutshell, that's how we work within Altspace. So the main things to remember are WASD, move you around on your keyboard. F for fast travel, or to open that little teleport. And the shift button allows you to kind of run at a jog through the environment. There's a couple other things I will show you really quickly in here while we're here. And they may not apply to the Lethbridge Chamber space, but it's something that's handy to know when you're in other environments. Is you'll see this thing right here called a portal. These aren't everywhere that you go, but they might be visible some places that you go. So I wanted you to know what it's all about. This portal takes you to another world. in the environment. And why this is important to know is that the minute I click this, it takes me out of this space. If you're at an event and you click on one of these, you'll actually leave the event as well. And that's not a big deal. It's really easy to get back into your event. You just right click your menu and you go to, oh, sorry, wrong one. You click this title screen button here and it opens up your title screen and you can enter your code for your event and you jump right back in. So it's not a big deal. If you do leave, that you can jump right back in with the code. So that's something to do. I'm going to jump back into the world that I was in, but I wanted people to be aware of that in case you accidentally leave a space. You can always go back to the world that you were in by clicking this title screen button and re-entering the code that you were given.
Great. Thanks, Tyler. Do you want to stop sharing your screen and we'll wrap this up, because you should all be ready to go now. You've downloaded Steam, you've got into AltspaceVR, and you've made it to the world. Now you can practice around with that tutorial. You can build your avatar, and then Catherine's going to be sending you the code for the event, and then that's all you'll need. You'll just hit that enter code button and go into the event that way, and we'll see you in there. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. Catherine, do you want to close this out?
Yes. All right. We are excited to see everybody in the space. Don't forget to click on people and add as a friend, and then you have your virtual friends and you can collaborate. I know this is a very detailed explanation, but once you're in there and you have this all set up, it is incredibly easy to get back in. So we're excited to see you all at our events going forward, and we will meet virtually. So thank you so much. Thanks for everybody for making this.
Yeah, see you there.